Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
We stopped the teaching today, and answer you some of the questions until next week. I'm extremely sick. I try not to cancel, but to be here as a respect and honor for all of you. So we try to answer a few questions, and we'll curtail the teaching of today, and we come back together next week.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for being here. Okay, well, let's have a look at the Q&A. And we'll start out with the first one with Gerhard, who says, "Good day to Mr. Keshe and all seekers of knowledge. During last Friday's training session in overtime, the 5th hour, a completely different feeling could be sensed. Could Mr. Keshe comment on this and the results?"
With the last session, we brought in a special technology in that we saw it appropriate, and we are not using it today. We assess it next week, maybe. And this gives you direct transmutation. Many of you had different feeling in the last hour, and hopefully our team will be able to put it together for next week. And it's primarily is for you to connect to universal fields. When you want the energy of an apple, you don't look on the earth for it. You take it from the depth of the space, which is selfless there, does not need to destroy an apple or a lamb or whatever. And this is part of our work now, and should be completed in the next few days and weeks. And we tried today, you're on that system, but in different way, you're all receiving. We are not taking anything from you. And we have not applied what we did the last time, because we have to be ready for it to be done. It brings you directly in connection with the soul of the Creator, if you can understand it that way.
Okay, we have a similar question from Leo Mar from the Brazilian community, who says, Thank you for the breakthrough teachings to humanity. In the early hours of Thursday morning around 4 a.m., I woke up and walked to the living room and lay down on my back on the sofa, put on my headphones, and began to listen to the teaching. I soon noticed the presence of intense fields emanating from the system, creating a very specific energetic condition around me. It seemed to be the beginning of the process of the transmutation of the soul. I felt a powerful energy running through my entire body, concentrating mainly in the upper part, especially in my head. This energy became stronger and stronger until a very real sensation of levitation arose. At that moment, I understood that I was in a state of separation from physicality, and I thought, this is the state of the soul. I need to learn to maintain control when I am in the dimension of the soul. Then I pushed myself hard with the desire to free myself from the physical body. On the second attempt, I succeeded. I found myself standing still in the living room, fully conscious. I walked to the bedroom and saw my wife and daughter lying down, sleeping peacefully. I felt peace and said to myself, everything is fine here. With a light heart, I declared, now I want to go to our visitors at Three Eye Atlas. Instantly, I began to rise into the sky, able to see the stars clearly. However, before I could reach my desired destination, I felt a sudden force that pulled my soul back into my physical body, ending the process of transmutation. Question. I believe we are beginning to understand and experience soul transmutation, but we are still unable to fully control the process when we are in the soul dimension. Often we do not go where we want to go, but are taken where the soul itself wants to go. How can we develop conscious control and direction during the soul dimension experience so that we can choose our destinations in a balanced and correct way?
The more you do, the more you learn. It's just a practice. The more you test, the more you learn, the more you know where you make adjustments. There's never a mistake, but don't forget the soul has its own connection dimension. It's not that you where you want to go. You're a piggyback rider, not the rider itself. And this is one of the most important parts for you to learn. Try to learn step by step how to fly, how to see, how to connect, how to communicate, and understand that what you say once you come across the face of these people, entities, living things, you have to understand the logic of them and not the logic you want to convey. Then you'll succeed. Fear is your biggest problem.
That leads to the second question, which he goes on, when I am in the soul dimension, I often say, now is the time to transmute physicality. However, I'm unable to perform the physical transmutation. Could you enlighten us further on how to create the right conditions and emotions so that we can consciously and naturally bring physicality into the transmutation process?
The secret was just in the early part of the session. Understand gravity. It's the gravity and the inertia which is holding. You have to create a field strength that is balanced with gravity and at peace with itself and the inertia. The obstacle is not one-fold, it's threefold. One, your inertia, one is your gravity, and one is the destination field strength.
The person had already commented that this energy became stronger and stronger until a very real sensation of levitation arose. So that seems to be to go along with that.
Many people are trying, and many people are succeeding. You just need to practice. Just practice. Need to. There is no other choice. Can we have one more question and call it a day? I cannot stay with the session.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 621st Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 18th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in this weekly series of workshops ongoing for well over a decade here now. And once again, we have the honor of having Mr. Mehran Keshe as our main presenter here and teacher of the knowledge. Please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, whenever and wherever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, we welcome you back as usual, and we try to share knowledge with you and to learn and teach while we are in teaching lessons. In a way, we are learning about movement and energies of the soul, so the inner energy of the body of the man, how we communicate, and how we connect. Now we realize we are connected in two dimensions. One is our physical life, and one is our energy life. The energy life, we choose to call it the soul. The physical life is to call it life of the man. Today's session is very special, and it's set special. What does this mean? We are aware that within past few months and within next few days, we are going to encounter one of the most strongest celestial objects, which comes to us every cycle of few thousand years. And estimated closest approach will be sometime in the next 24, 48 hours. And what we are interested in is how man reacts after this encounter. And what will we encounter in the next cycle of 72 hours, 78, what we call it, week, 2 weeks, and how mankind will change. For this reason, today we have set a very special setting in our system in the background. The system is literally three-dimensional. The system is there for us to receive anything which is receivable from 3I. Information, knowledge, every other aspects, and give to the same system what we have as humanity as knowledge. We fully know how the system works. It's not alien, it's not something we don't know. And we have watched this behavior and we have seen its conduct. We have seen how it reacts. We have seen how it connects. And so those of you who are here today, I made sure through the knowledge I carry with me, I connect you to this system. How you react in the coming time, it will be a reflection of what you received. It's a reflection of what you're given. Is what as energy, elevation, as understanding will come to you and your future generation. It's not that you will see it today. Those of you who are here, you're no different than the rest of the 8-9 billion, but you have been given access. You've been not a shortcut, but the path has been made much clearer for all of you to receive, to give, to be in touch with, to maybe experience something you never experienced before. Maybe your generations will be the first generations who can produce the children of Mitra. Maybe your intelligence and knowledge reaches the point that surpasses the present time. Some of you might live because of today hundreds of years on this planet. We have set it up that way. Where man loses the greed of possession, when man loses the greed of wanting to be always there where it actually is there always. I have set the system today that connects you to your direction of the source as a fields, magnetic fields, and at the same time as you receive, the source which is you will give. It's a special setting that we have done in connection with all the systems you carry. You carry any of the systems of the Keshe Foundation, the balls, the headsets, anything you have done and you carry, especially in the past 2-3 months. If you receive those, what we call the cosmic ray balls, you will feel the change. You will, in a way, come to comprehend more about yourself, about your environment, about the creation, about the depth of the creation in this universe. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. And the beauty of it is, we see the end of the beginning of this around Saturday, the day of the birth of Mitra. This is what happens. This object always appears at this time every 3,000 years. And this is what we call the birth of Mitra, the birth of the knowledge, the beginning of the time. The creation of Adam, the beauty of the Creator to touch the humanity, to touch the planet Earth and the solar system. And so, next 24 hours, 48 hours, into 21st, into the birth of Mitra, we would like to see how humanity changes, how humanity behaves in next 10, 20, 100 years. Elevation of knowledge, or back to the point of the creation. Understanding more, enlightenment to its true meaning. The difference between now and 3,000 years ago, the last visit, is when we will see the Star of David. That star that is being claimed to be, you shall see. Dates have been moved. but the event is exactly precisely the same. Man has been looking for a Star of David to see it, for that star, the star that we all said appears on the Christmas day and the rest of it, which is the day of birth of Mitra, is the birth of the knowledge of the man who will shine. Then mankind will understand. Is not a star, is the elevation of cycle, is the understanding of totality and how man has progressed to become what it is. With the difference that now with the what we call man progressive, or what we call progression is knowledge, has the mass communication. And we all will benefit by this encounter. There is not the time that will be only open to those who are in Palestine or those who are somewhere else, or those at this other time in another position. It all be due to what we call the mass communication to all of us. Don't forget, this is on the physical dimension, where every time the star appears, as is plasmatic, its condition of its creation is what we call very much not atomic, but it's Ganser state. It carries emotion, it carries response, it carries everything. It's dynamic, it's alive. And for that reason, being a living entity, it touches every single one of us. It's very much when you put a pin in your foot, the rest of the body feels the pain. This is that pain, this is that knowledge, this is that joint, this is that what we call contact. It's always been there. But when it gets so close, the transition, the transmutation is rapid. What will be interesting to see is how the future events in next 2 to 5 years will take on this planet. Man will take a direction in how his future exists due to the encounter of what is coming in next 48 hours, 72 hours. Always is done. Every cycle, this energy has appeared around us. Within 7 to 10 years, mankind has done some uprooting of its tradition. We see this again and again. We understand this in the depth of the knowledge. And then we'll see how we interact. How, as humanity, we will allow our what we call knowledge to become the library knowledge of the universe. In a way, the encounter in the next 72 hours and thereon will allow us how to be part of universal community, share what we have and receive what we are given. We will see a new cycle of knowledge and technologies. We will see a new cycle of destruction. We will see a new cycle of what I call animosity, not through wealth, but through knowledge. Up to now, we battered each other, who has more power, who has more money, who's the richest. Now the change of the direction is who has the knowledge, who has more, who's the universal teacher, who becomes, what's the possibility. We don't look at the Nobel Prize winners. We look at those who become the universal members and those who become part of the universal community. Now we pride ourselves, so and so from this nation is a United Nation and got this Nobel Prize. We will pride ourselves, which one of us, from which society and which community has become a member of the Universal Council, has become member of the Universal Committee that brings us into dimension and direction, which brings us knowledge. We envy knowledge. We strive to become knowledgeable and not to be rich. Richness comes in how close we bring universal community to the earth, to humanity, and how we succeed to proceed with that. How we will change the society through knowledge, through peace, through unity, and not through the wealth, the gun policy, and the shameful conduct of killing. Every time this light has appeared, humanity has changed. And humanity has gained knowledge, and through their knowledge has tried to gain wealth, and that wealth has brought demise. But this time shall not be, because every man knows the wealth is at his hand. The position of wealth was to stay alive, to be the possession and possessor. We shall see the fall of kingdoms. We shall see the end of domination of nations, where all nations become one. We shall see a change in approach that is not to be one. I'm Chinese, I'm British, I'm English, I'm American, I'm Iranian, I'm Arab, but I'm a citizen of the planet Earth. The change comes through process which has already started, but in time will explain. The unification of mankind will actually started because this system has locked into us a long time ago. It's not that it appears by the 19th or the 20th. It has already locked into us. Tomorrow, because of tomorrow and the day after till 21st, because of its proximity, the flow of knowledge becomes so much, it's like a boiling pot. The knowledge, the influence, the love of the Creator, the knowledge of the creation will boil into. It'll set the new standard of the knowledge. It sets a new understanding of the peace. And then humanity tries to achieve it subconsciously through understanding and connection to the soul of the man with the energy fields which is higher than the man. We always said in a plasma condition, the stronger gives to the weaker to bring it to be equal. The system approaching is of that level of high. And the whole of the soul of humanity, the planet, the solar system, starts moving to be at that high. Elevation is through interaction. The reason being that it's not a meteorite, but this is a biological structure, is a gas state within the center of it, and thus it has a soul and emotion. And it touches us all, and it'll be touched by us all. Mankind has to understand what is about to happen, and some will see it as a meteorite passing. But we know the effect of this system is here for elevation of the soul of the man. The knowledge to bring man to the point on the verge to understand that in so many ways the wealth of the man is in how strong it is in connection with the universal community and its position in the condition of the creation, rather than a few pieces of gold or pocket and powers and guns in their pocket. What we will see, I have asked our team in the background to closely monitor every move today. We are watching, we are monitoring to see how mankind will work with this new understanding. How you as knowledge seekers will respond to this in the next maybe 5 or 10 years. What changes you through knowledge will bring for humanity. Has the connection of today brought you to see, to feel, to be part of, and not to dream that I felt this and that, but to be, in one sense, one essence, the light. The light we see from 3i is a plasmatic, which means it's the strength of the soul of, and the strength of the physicality and the strength of the soul of physicality of the man. This is why it'll touch us. Other object passing us, They are nothing but collection of materials. The system is the interaction of materials, interaction of the fields. It has a dynamic biological structure which it touches us, it affects us, it connects us to it. It's like the cell in the brain, how it connects itself to the cell in the foot. The reason for it touches us is because it's plasmatic of a higher order. We are made of the same plasmatic of the lower order compared to, but not necessarily in all levels, that it takes from us what we don't need and it gives to us to elevate us to a higher order, what we call field strength in connection. And once you connect to this dimension, once you connect to this direction, you connect to a higher level knowledge in the whole of the universe and unicos. In so many ways, if I can shortcut it, in so many ways, if I can put it directly, is for the first time, we welcome the whole of humanity to be able to connect to the dimension of both physical and the energy level of the universe together with the universal community. We are messengers and no more. We are connectors and no more. We are here to enlighten, to inform and no more. Profit is for those who be profited by it, and profits are those who have never understood the true essence of the creation and connect to the physical dimension to unknown dimension which themselves did not understand. This time you are fully aware, you fully understand the process, and mankind has been made ready for this. Never think for 1 second that you just became a knowledge seeker to attend. Your soul has brought you here, and through it is for you to be enlightened, to understand, and then be proud that you are present at such a time that you can bring to the soul of humanity. You become the beacons of light, of knowledge, and with it, you have to shine across humanity, that you become guiding light. And those who bring mankind to understand the totality. This time around, the whole of the planet, on both dimensions of physicality and the soul, is equally aware of the change in every corner of this planet due to our teaching. We brought the knowledge across you today at this moment, from Brazil to South America, to South Africa, to Brazil, going into Australia, China, Iran, Russia, Europe. You're all aligned. And as I always said, the love of God shines upon all at the same time. You're all connected, and this connection brings you all to one dimension direction, directly connected. Some of you might have fear of what is to come, and some of you might enjoy what's to come. But in either way, due to the condition of the structure of this process, you all be enlightened. It's like bringing a much stronger magnet closer to you. And then you see your reaction. I hope those of you here, those of you who are connected, those of you become aware of, will monitor yourself the next years to come, not just tomorrow. How you feel, how much you're becoming more aware of the knowledge of the creation and the created, and become humble to the knowledge and not proud and become arrogant to what you understand. Be aware that the presence of this encounter will touch every being on this planet. The dog, the cat, the fish, the plants, the man, and the rest. And mankind will see itself in one dimension or one direction. The reason mankind destroyed itself with these encounters in the past is because the knowledge and the knowledge of the soul and the knowledge of the physicality were separated, disconnected, and man never understood, due mainly to the profitability or profitability of the prophets. And then mankind has to understand one point. Would the energy they receive from this encounter in coming days will bring us to be elevated to understand more, as this does not need a verbal language, but it's the interaction of the fields. Yesterday I was in a meeting with one of the knowledge seekers. And in that meeting, I explained very simple. You, as governments, as the structures, develop the matter state, where we set in the opposite direction to bring the knowledge of the energy state. The two are too far apart to be mixed, to be brought together, but the knowledge of one, the energy of the one, will enlighten the others to create the condition for elevation of the knowledge in the community and the society. Try to see what you understood. Try to understand yourself. Do not judge the others, as you do not know how they've been enlightened and what light and what knowledge they gained. Don't read the book by its cover, and discover what you have not known about the world of creation and how you can change this dimension and direction. It'll be interesting to see how your knowledge seekers will interact. It will be seen how your energies and how your physicality will interact. It'll be interesting to see how you as knowledge seekers will differ from those who are in the society. How would you shine in the cycle of the creation? How your offsprings be enlightened by and be part of? And how the new knowledge will bring mankind to a position that will bring changes to humanity and those who you come in touch with. The purpose of the teaching has been the elevation of the soul of the man, for man to understand more about himself, his structure, his life, his position and position in the universal community, than being separated by name, religion, and place, as is the fashion today on this planet. We'll be looking for changes within the structure of the knowledge seekers in the coming times and years, and humanity as a whole, and how much more mankind will develop systems and technologies that it makes him to know himself better than the others. In the next few days, the field strength received by the body of the man will be so much that even some of the part of the layers of the life of the man will not manifest itself in the dimension of physicality. I hope my wish has been that I have prepared mankind enough in past 12 years to meet the challenges of coming up and upcoming in the next few days and hours. And I hope you all be enlightened by the fields and the direction of the fields of the system. You have to understand where your emotion is in respect to your soul, and what is your emotion in respect to your physicality, and what is the expectation. Your consciousness, which is part of your emotion, has to dictate which way it goes, and in that process, am I going to manifest myself in a dimension of energy or a matter state? And as one says, am I going to be in the dimension of physicality, or is it separated from my soul? And the one is connecting the two together as an intermediary sits in between. One of these days, mankind will become to understand the process of its own dimension and direction. And mankind will come to understand how much he needs to understand about himself. The dimension of what we call field strength of his own existence, and at the same time, how can mankind bring changes through his will, through his power, and through his understanding. There will not be a soul which will not be touched on this planet in the next 72 hours. As I said, every living things from now on, due to proximity and a high field strength, plasmatic field strength, will be touched in interaction with the system, and those of different values in the elevation of the soul might encounter another dimension and direction. A fish feels the emotion of the man, a man feels the emotion of the dog and the tree, and in that process, man becomes aware of the life and existence in every dimension possible. I made man in the image of myself. And when the Creator looks at his image, he has to understand how the image has created the man. And what is his image in respect to the man. We'll go for a break. We come back and we discuss this in detail in the way you put your questions and the way you understand you're going to be touched, and the way you're going to understand this new interaction will bring changes to you and the people around you and to the humanity as a whole. We go for a break and we come back, and I hope I brought you to see what is about to happen on Christmas Day. Rick, would you like us to take a break?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Very interesting. I thought in the break I'd play a 6-minute video about the piece and the network units. So we'll play that now and be back for the second half. And I'll remind our attendees here that you have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. And you can put up your virtual hand, and then we can open your microphone so that you can speak. Otherwise, you can put a text question into either the webinar chat, the Q&A is best in the Zoom here, or in the chat in the YouTube as well. Okay, be back shortly. Bear with me a minute, just having a trouble starting this video. Paulo says, great Professor Keshe, will 10,000 units in operation revolutionize the human world in one fell swoop? It was enough for just 100 monkeys to be educated in a group on an island for all of them to become knowledgeable about the technique of washing potatoes before eating them in the famous 100th monkey experiment. With 10,000 units, will it have the reverberation to influence 8 billion people?
When you work on the balance of the fields, should be. But what I reckon in the coming time, using the what they call universal antennas, these units needs to be updated even in the structure. We have a problem. We see the problem. I've seen this problem since early 2000 with my systems. The insulating the universal fields from the matter state of the electronics is a harsh thing. And even in our labs, we have developed technologies, we have developed materials, system combinations to separate the effect of the fields and the motion of the fields. But we, these computers are your physical, it's like your body, we control the emotion with the soul, with the antennas. And then when you have so many in connecting to each other to make one big antenna, yes, it'll affect everyone, will be covered on it. Maybe we go to 100,000, maybe people want to be near to. And as I was explaining to a knowledge seeker, at the moment when you have these communication systems, you have to have these masks on top of the church. You've seen they even make a tree hidden, hiding antennas and everything else in it. With these systems, okay, some of you receiving it are on the, what you call Himalayan level, and some of you are in the, sitting in the city of Amsterdam, 26 meters below the sea level. In that way, you all cover each other. Would it be the time that when we can't cover, we have no units above this level, humans on that, above that at all, this level will be different than the others because they're not benefited by it? I don't think so. It's all to come, it's all to understand, it's all to put together.
That pretty much answers the second question from Paulo. How can you revitalize your teachings in practice and influence all areas of knowledge with action and dynamism?
With the new units, it's very interesting. I looked at this very recently, so I don't need to go back anywhere with it. With these units, you receive most of the teachings, all the teachings, whatever is available teachings will go on these disks, on these units. And then you have the universal system which is connected to this. You communicate, you come in, other people use it. So the teachings will be ingrained in the soul of the man. And then those who want to use their memory of physicality. Because the information, when you ask a question or when you put the data in it that is moving, it's dynamic between 10,000 units, it will have an interaction transmission through the universal system which interacts with the plasma energy, which means it'll be very effective in that process, in transferring the emotion and everything else with it to the person who receives it. And will have access to all the knowledge which is in all the teachings. Let us develop the antennas and let us, let the team in the background do all the tests, and then we'll see. I still work as partially. I was advisor to one of the world leaders in a very recent uprising. And what I advised the leader, I said, there was literally, you cannot fight people on the street. You have to play the tune of peace through the headphones and microphones which you threaten them. They just walk away. They don't need to listen it, to hear it. You can play the silence music through plasma. That elevates, bring peace to. And they battled it for weeks on the street. They tested it 1 or 2 times, and it worked. We got to learn. We relied too much on shouting at people, and they react physically to it. Now we teach the soul, bring peace to the soul. They walk away with the physicality. Governing will change, and it will govern through these systems. You will understand. These units are just a disguise for freedom of the man. But it's like if you go out with the pharmaceuticals, they go every attack. When we do it and you use it, the pharmaceutical doesn't have any market to sell. And it's the same. These units are far much more than what you think they are.
All right, that completes our excerpt from the 619th Knowledge Seekers Workshop with Mr. Keshe. And now we'll have the opportunity of hearing Mr. Keshe again in real time here. Before we do so, I wanted to explain the image that I had of Mr. Keshe, especially the red one. Those were some of the latest X-ray images from 3i Atlas. And I thought it was interesting in this particular image because yesterday when I found this image, I was looking for the latest in images, and apparently the X-ray realm was one of the telescopes it receives X-rays, and the bright red is the X-rays, and all of the red are X-rays, and then it goes to the purple, which is the ordinary background radiation. So it's a low grade X-ray that they have. But in particular, what I noticed was the six-sided figure here that right away it seemed to me to be the Star of David that you mentioned. And you said Star of David. I went, wow, that was just like that X-ray photograph that just came out a few days ago. So I don't know if you knew about that, but you were apparently bang on with that description, I think. Would you like to carry on into part 2 here? I think you have some other things.
Yes, thank you very much. We are monitoring not the encounter in physical dimension. We are monitoring this encounter in elevation of the knowledge and the soul of the man. Like cancer, some bodies will manifest themselves that way. They cannot understand, they cannot comprehend, they cannot match with the elevation of the soul, with physicality, and will react in a very different way that brings the demise to certain dimension and direction. And some will evolve. And those which evolve, those of you who in the dimension of the soul evolve in a coming time because of this encounter, will come to understand in a way is the beginning of a new cycle for your souls, for your energies. And it'll be very interesting to see how you individually react, how you individually elevate, how you individually become part of the process of elevation of your own soul. And as I always said, there is no day of judgment. The judgment comes on you judging your understanding of the world of the creation and life about yourself. The only judge is you about yourself and where you're going to take this dimension of the physicality and the soul, to what level and for what purpose. It's very interesting to see how the knowledge, elevation of the soul of the man will incur because of this encounter. We look in the change in the energy level where the man will look in the dimension of what physicality this will bring. Many of you and your offsprings and those who you share soul with in any dimension will understand this change. Will come to feel and be enlightened to a new level of understanding. We have no choice. The destiny is set for us this, and is the destiny of the human race of life on this planet. Fish to get the tree, man, and every other being will be affected by this. The scientists will look and try to see the effect of this system on the satellites and the radars and God knows what. They're the only ones who look for the elevation of the soul. As this is a biological system, and biologic systems always touch the world of the creation in the dimension of the soul. Not only will we enlightened, but we'll see the knowledge, the understanding, and in how we share this knowledge through the soul and not by the word of the man. As knowledge seekers, and those of you who connected to this system today, you have no choice. You chose to be here. And the choice of being here gives us the right to be able to connect you directly into the system. In a way, you chose to be here, and by that choice, we have connected you to two level energies of the universe. System is running, it's in the background, we see its operation, and it's for you to understand. For the first time in teachings of Thursday, as I have asked our team in the background, we'll run this till next Monday. Even though we end the teaching, but those of you who come back to this position as you are, you'll stay connected with our system. We'll monitor what happens during the closest encounter in our system. We monitor what happens in the aftermath as the distance increases, and see what's the difference between today and 24 hours, 48 hours after closest encounter. This will give us how man will be elevated in the dimension of field of his energy in the time to come. Don't forget, we had this once before. Next Thursday is the Christmas day. adjusted by the birth of Mitra, the suit. Will be here, and maybe we monitor together what has happened to you lot in the course of 72 hours, 48 hours, and plus from today that we start monitoring. We start monitoring before the closest encounter and after as the distance increases. How you as energy fields interacting with this system. Because we know how and our systems are set to connect, they are already connected. And how you will change in the process of next few hours. How much you'll gain, how much you will understand, and how much you will see. The encounters are very, very clear. The source, the physicality, the dimension, and is on a given field strength bandwidth. It will be very interesting to see how the dimension of the physicality will be enlightened in dimension of the soul of the man's receiving the knowledge. I share with you that you will see some of the latest, what is happening now with you lot. Exactly, you've never seen such encounter, and you will see how will change, how this position will change amongst you in the coming time. And it will be interesting for us to see how the soul of humanity will respond. It is interesting to see how you feel the encounter set.
Recording in progress. Record progress. Record progress.
In a specific way that I share with you, and we monitor this for the coming time. This is how you as knowledge seekers, those of you here, are connecting to universal energies in the dimension of what we encounter, which what we are receiving. You are tuned directly to the what we call energy fields of the universe within the vicinity of the solar system. Every position on this picture, which I'm sharing with you, has a meaning. We know the reason, we know why. We set it up to be this way. This is not coincidental. If you noticed in the past, the position of the energy from the fields always were encountered in this area. This is on this side, the solar physicality, which means the energy we are receiving is touching man directly. You see the lines we have set up deliberately for these lines. These lines we have chosen, the system has chosen. We set the system to create this position. The interaction has moved from the dimension of the soul to the dimension of physicality, solar physicality. We'll monitor this, how you as knowledge seekers will change, receive, both in all dimensions and directions. On the system, we have set up 4 poles to create directly these effects, to see the elevation of the soul of the man in the coming hours, in the coming days, and how you will change. It's not coincidental. We set up to achieve this, to connect man to the soul, to the energy of the universe, and for man to feed back what it needs to connect, to communicate, to receive. What are you thirsty for? What are you dealing with? What do you want to achieve from this encounter? We'll see, we monitor, and we see how you, as race of the man, those of you who are connected to the system, will change in the coming time. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. In regards to today, there's some comments. One from Randy. Right from the moment Mr. Keshe began talking, I can, quote, hear and feel, unquote, the universal energies increasing, especially in the head, the spine, and the entire skeleton. Ying Chi Law says the head feels pressure, but the mood is exciting. Doug says, today I saw 2 crested pigeon birds dancing together and kissing on the street in front of our house. It was very sweet to see, and my emotion was uplifted noticeably. Monica says, hello, everyone. I feel like the lecture flew by in a matter of minutes. Time sped up. I felt my head and heart, my pelvis sink. I felt emotionally moved, and the need to become a true bearer of knowledge and peace arose. Thought that was interesting. The need to become a true bearer of knowledge and peace. Perhaps that can be brought out in people by this technology.
The energy we receive from this encounter is biological, and being biological, it has a soul. In a way, as I explained before, we walk down the street and one person touches us without any physical encounter. We fall in love with it. From it, in falling in love, we learn, we gain, and because of it, we'll change our lives. This encounter in the next few hours is of that level. Those of you who are looking for elevation of the knowledge will take from it the elevation of knowledge. Those of you who look for elevation of soul in any dimension, which brings you comprehension, increases your intellect, increases your connection with yourself and the others, will take place in the coming time. This encounter is not a physical, even though we see it, is that lover who passes the man and will touch every single one of us. Every single living thing which has a dimension of the soul will be changed by this encounter. This is not a meteorite. This is a universal structure which has a dynamic energy like every cell of the man. Singularity, but with the same as creation of the man, in many dimensions and directions, a living thing. This is why it will touch us. This is why every time it's passed this planet has touched the man, because this thing is not the light you see, it's the enlightenment which touches your soul. And man sooner or later will understand. We go to conferences to be enlightened by those who teach us, to bring this knowledge, and we go to places to fall in love with, because we see the elevation of. This is one of those encounters. This system is dynamic, and this system, in its being dynamic, biological in the dimension of the plasmatic field, will touch what is the essence of our creation, which is the soul of the man. And I'm looking forward to see how the knowledge will change in the next 3,000 years. I'll be here, as I've been here before. As I said before, many years I sat in deserts under one tree, watching the caravans pass by. This is another caravan passing by, and we sit and watch how the humanity and the mankind will change through it because of it, and what will bring what we call what we have as knowledge to all of us. This is the true rain of knowledge for all souls. It's the rain which falls on every being on this planet. And we got to see how humanity, the animal kingdom, the planet kingdom, the biological kingdom on this planet will change because of it. This encounter will bring knowledge to man, beyond the imagination of the man, because this time the knowledge is shared across the universal community of the man, of the created things on this planet. As is plasmatic, it will touch our soul. But how it manifests itself in the dimension of physicality is another dimension. Always said, even when we used to see people, when people come to me and they say, I have a cancer today, I say, what happened 7 years ago, which that emotion has led to the cancer of today. This encounter in the next 72 hours is that emotion. And we have to see what it creates in the coming time. How many of us will get the cancer of love, and how many of us will get the cancer of destruction and demise? We evolve by it, or we demise by it. As I said, when you get that emotion of the hate, it takes you up to 7 years to create that lump which becomes a cancer, and you feel. And then, if that energy is an energy of love, you feel it instantaneously and it elevates your emotion. You have to see how this energy will come. You fall in love with the dimension of the creation, or become that cancer which will destroy you in the dimension of physicality in the coming time to come. Some of us evolve, and some of us will not. And those who evolve instantaneously will be like the ones who fall in love with a lover. As I said, you're in the stadium of 100,000, and there's only one you fall in love with right across the other side. We have to see how this new energy added to us will touch us. How many of us evolved to become part of the universal community? And many of you, because of this, will start transmuting, because your soul has been prepared for it. Many of you knowledge seekers will see it, you won't believe it, you call it everything except that your soul has been elevated. I think it happened. I thought it happened. What didn't happen up to now? Except when you received energies. Stay outdoor in the coming time, in the time of the encounter with this system. Do not hide yourself in buildings and basements and offices. Look into it. Connect to it. If you have the cosmic ray balls with you, sit with it. Look it directly in the eye and see what it gives you. And understand it, because within the cosmic ray balls you received carries the fields which connects with this system. You'll understand. Many of you, for centuries to come, you'll be proud from the encounter you received in the coming time. Man shall see till the next time we encounter with this system again in 3,000 years. We'll be here as we have been here before. Any other question?
Well, Karina has asked the first question in the Q&A, very simple. Will we all become a Magrev?
What does that mean?
Well, perhaps we, as the human physicality becomes as a similar reaction or machine as a Magrev, similar process.
We always a Magrev, but depends how much energy we can connect with. This is what I always said, you all made the coils. But as I always said, whoever has a mustache is not your uncle. How you make the coils, in what position and composition, it decides what he absorbs. As we know in the world of physics, the color we see is the color which the object does not need, does not absorb. It reflects back. We don't see the colors which the object absorbs. And this is the same. What you give back is more important than what you absorb, because what the dimension, what we call elevation of the soul in the dimension of energy gives out at this point will decide what it received. You just looked at the picture, the graph I showed, but to you were lights. I'll explain some little details on this that you understand. What is interesting for us in this is these positions. These heights of elevation, these heights of manifestation. Receiving and giving. But as always is, which always explained, and you all of you know by now, is this. Ask yourself one point. How come? how come that this is not everywhere, but confined to one strength, one thing? In the dimension, as you see on the physical side, not on the energy side. So you as knowledge seekers are getting touched by 3I in the dimension of the soul of physicality. And the balance of it, the conformation of it is this point. We have covered you in our system, in our lab, with 4 positions in a different combination and 1 central position. How much are you connecting to universal fields? We are monitoring. This position clearly shows us a dimension is not here. We haven't seen it. If you remember, last time was 2 lines here. You are sitting and interacting according to what we want to gain from this encounter. This is what you as knowledge seekers are taking, and this is what you are giving at the source which receives and gives. Humanity is at its point to be elevated in the next few hours. From the second this system appeared in the solar system, we all connected to it. But the punchline will come in the next 2 days, 3 days. The interesting part is to look at this system as a whole. And then you see the future of mankind. Once this encounter is over, I try to explain that you as knowledge seekers understand. Humanity is going to be touched by this encounter, and how humanity will react will be very interesting. There's a lot of hidden things that I will sit and wait and see will happen in the next few hours, next couple of 2 or 3 days, and then we'll unravel a secret. And then we'll see the beginning of the next generation of life on this planet. By encountering this energy and by nothing else. Any other question?
Well, Paulo had put in the chat previously that about X-rays and gamma rays were detected coming from 3I Atlas. And early this morning, it was closer to Earth, perhaps heading toward one of Jupiter's moons. Could you clarify this for us? And in fact, what our reaction should be to possible contact and what the governments of our world should do in light of this important astronomical event?
The astronomical event is something which happens cyclically. It's like Christmas comes every 12 months. And all depends how this energy will affect certain energies within the structure of those who govern. As we've seen, we have to wait for the energies to settle to encounter, and then you see what's the outcome of the elevation of the souls. But you have to understand there are a lot of things happening which is in the hand of the soul of physicality and physicality of the man, and not in the hand of the soul of the man. And if you understand this, then you separate the two events from each other. You always have to look into the depth of both dimensions. What is in the hand of physicality, what in the hand of the energy, which we call the soul of the man. Those of the acts of the soul of physicality and physicality man had nothing to do with the soul, because that's the direction they take. And then the elevation of the soul will interact with or will lead to that position and position. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Again, I'll remind our attendees, you can put up your virtual hand and we will allow your microphone to open so you can ask a question. Okay, back to our Q&A here. Give me a second while I try to reposition some things. Let's see here. Paulo had a further question. It's actually a series of questions. I'll run through it and perhaps you can answer in a more general fashion or something, because it has to do with the fundamental particles. It goes this way from Paulo. Great Professor Keshe, are there still tiny fundamental particles to be discovered? Will we one day reach the ultra-infinitesimal dimension of the divine spark? Are there particles even smaller than the divine spark? Is the particle of the creators from which the divine spark comes even smaller than the particle of the divine spark? Is the particle of the creator smaller than the creators? Does the primordial energy gel need to create a particle before generating fields? Does the particle come before this energy gel, or is it the gel that generates pure energy? What comes first, the particle or the wave? You have already told us that there are 5 and/or 7 dimensions. Are there particles in all dimensions? If not, then from which dimension do particles materialize? So obviously he's pretty heavily into particles right now, whereas you want to discuss energy, I think.
You see, when you speak a particle, you speak about manifestation. What you don't see is part of the energy and fields. So for a particle to be manifested, it has to be a local interaction with the fields of the environment it's in. That is at the level which can encounter. It's like neutrinos. Neutrinos pass through us. We've been trying to detect them for decades and centuries, but actually it happens in our brain continuously every second from the energy field of the universe, which passes through the earth, and we just happen to be there. I explain this in a very funny way, but you might understand exactly what I mean, because it's happened to every single one of us. Have you ever, which I'm sure you have, stood still, felt an encounter of a pain or an electric shock out of nowhere in your brain, in one of the organs of your body? The brain of the man is one of the best ones because its simplicity of its construction, its composition is very different. It's a much higher order in the balance fields of the universe. What's that pain? What's that electric shock? Is it neural? Or is it the energy from the universe which finds itself, like the astronauts, they saw the light in their eyes, that it dissolves in your body and you feel it as the body tries to absorb it? It's like a pinch on the skin, but in a way, how do you feel a pinch? Because something squeezes you from outside. Delivers higher energy than what is allowed by your skin to be living in a condition of. So, how many of these little pains, which suddenly might have happened in your life, maybe once, maybe 100 times, maybe twice, has been receiving rays or absorption of the rays from the universe, which you happen to be in that position at time and place, going through in the balance with the energy of your environment, of your brain, your heart, your love, your whatever, has come to be in one section in balance with and encounter with, and because being in the parallel balance, you receive the energy and say, oh, I had a huge pain or a shock in my head. Which in fact, because you don't understand it, is delivery of the energy from the universe, rays passing through, another manifestation, another particle. And this is what the world of science is. When you speak about the particle, is aware at the point when the environmental field interacts with the incoming fields and they're in balance, and the interaction creates manifestation of conformation of interaction. You call it particle. Otherwise, the rest, all fields moving from one to another till they encounter and create that particle. Where energy incoming and environment are in balance with each other, they can encounter, otherwise it goes through neutrinos. Man has been putting buckets in the deepest wills of this planet to find an encounter, and it happens in their eyes and the brain every day. Ignorance is a bliss. And our scientists are so ignorant to the true knowledge of the energy fields. So when you ask about particles and others, creator, lower and higher, when you see the particle, it means the manifestation of interaction of balance fields that they can interact. Otherwise, here we go, we're in the motion. And no encounter. But there's one principle: you don't see all the encounters. Forever there are encounters which are not the range of the observation or emotion of the man. So when you speak about these things, you understand the principle: what is and what shall be. And is the higher order particle are much smaller than the bigger order particles. That again depends on the magnetic field strength, the giving or taking. Any other question?
Paulo had another question in the Q&A. It's actually from a knowledge seeker from Brazil who had an insight that the new plasma technologies could be the savior. Is she right?
The savior of what? We saved ourselves from dilemma of physicality, and we create a bigger problem in dimension of energy. If we handle both the dimension of energy and the matter in an appropriate way, there is no need to save, because they balance each other out. They look after each other. Does not need saving. And what are we saving ourselves from? From encountering, becoming part of universal community. We're getting so busy with the physicality. Any other question?
Okay, let's see here.
First of all, before I forget, I give you my deepest congratulations for the birth of Mitra in the next 2 days. And I hope you feel her presence, because a lot of you will understand what it means. It's the time of contemplation and understanding, especially with the presence of 3i. Many of you will be enlightened. And I hope you enjoy the encounter, as it creates a new dimension of emotion and knowledge in every single one of you. I hope you walk away with a torch of light and knowledge beyond dimension of your imagination. Try to absorb as much as you can from this encounter, that your children to come have to wait 3,000 years to feel what you felt and to receive what you receive. You're lucky ones that you receive elevation first time. Carry on.
We have a couple of hands up here from Antonio and Claudia. Antonio, if you'd like to go ahead first, please.
Yes, good morning, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Morning, Antonio. How are you?
I've been running around
Collecting fruits.
helping the Salvation Army. They're loading their trailer. They distribute food to the needy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I got a little bit of fruit left, but I've nearly finished now.
Your summer is over, huh?
No, we had 44 centigrade today.
It'll be fruit picking time.
Oh, yes, it's pretty hot here, I tell you. Just a couple of questions. With the cosmic ray,
in a part of the world, in a village in Iran, they're expecting 2 meters of snow this week.
I've never seen
And
snow.
you're at 44 degrees.
I've never seen snow.
I know. You celebrate the Christmas in the heat of the summer. The Father Christmas will be sweating like God knows what.
I enjoy the Christmas here because I can go to the beach, and it's one of the best times for me. The ocean has something special, healing, very healing for me.
What's your question today?
The first one was the cosmic ray balls. I'm always worried about dropping one. Are they? If I did drop one, would that be a problem?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes I got them in my hand.
There is something interesting. The way these cosmic ray balls are set, the material energy of them lasts a long time. And it's due to the composition of the material used. A lot of people just think is what you call resin, but we chose a special resin for the cosmic rays. One day I explain. It's a biological resin. It's not a normal resin. And this allows the interaction. So your what we call cosmic ray material is interactive and holding on to.
Mm-hmm.
If we would have used material-based resin, like we did with a spoon in the what we call May event of China, the interaction of the cosmic ray with the spoon, which is a metal, would have disappeared most of the energy. As I said, more or less none of the knowledge seekers who took a spoon have any material left on their spoon, because the metallic or metal condition environment has taken the material away. And as I said before, many, especially one of the critics, says this is the metal dust. And we have never seen a metal dust disappear. And this is important, that you exchange energy with this balls. And it's the structure of the resin chosen by accident, by deliberate or whatever, is there to keep the balance. And these resins will stay for a long time. It's built that way.
Yeah.
And don't worry about if you shake it or whatever. And if it's sometimes depleting, it means you need it. It's fed you. That's why it's there.
Yeah. What I've done, Mr. Keshe, is my good friend who's having treatment by the wellness unit at the moment, I placed the plasma balls within a couple of meters. There's a wall between me and him, a couple of meters away. I've just placed the cosmic balls there, and I thought maybe that may help. I don't know whether, I mean, it's connected to me, but would it be helpful in some ways? He's never touched them. I've never shown it to him.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, it can take from what is there if he needs it, but not necessarily. Let me explain to you something. It's nice what you brought up. 4 or 5 years ago, we launched what I call the obesos. And if you remember the big eggs, what I call them, the obeso systems, and evolution in the science and technology has brought such an amazing dimension in the world of science and technology development for us in the Keshe Foundation. And when I look at it, when I see what has been achieved, it brings me wonders. You remember, let me actually find what I'm looking for. Those in the background, anybody has a picture of the obesos, the original one? Otherwise, I have to go into thousands of pictures to find it. If anyone of you, if Rick, you have one handy, you have access to one of the pictures of the universal enhancement units, you can share it with me.
I have that somewhere here, but
send it to me that I can. I'm trying to look for one to see. I used to keep it. I don't keep these things because they are.
well, we've got the flight enhancement spaceship unit. Is that?
Yeah, that's the one that are more or less the same.
The video, and we can have a look at a slide of that. So.
Oh, okay. Raphael has sent me the picture I'm looking for.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Raphael. I want to show you something very interesting. This is, years ago, we promoted, we brought forward a new concept in technology. And what is interesting is that evolution in science and technology has been so vast that we want to show you something that you see. What will be the next step from this will be a structure of changing the soul of the man directly through the system. We all remember this. The same system as you see, but much more advanced, in a very, very advanced way, which is still as its infancy, even so advanced, is this. Those of you who bought this will receive this in the next few days. This carries another attachment to it, which in a way it shows evolution is technology, evolution in science, evolution in understanding more in the depth by scientists of the man. Where we will change what I call the way your body is, the way you get emotion from your child and you fall in love with, or the emotion from the child that you don't want to create another child against, and through emotion, through the soul, you create yourself your cancer or the love for your child. This is where we sit now on the verge of the science and technology of the man. And what I expect with the next few months, and maybe next under 2 to 5 years, even these units will become much more different than what has been in the past. Those of you, as you said, you're putting the systems on either side of your friend, will see the emergence of the new technology the way you see here. This is how far the technology has moved on in the past 5 years. This machine was shown around 2020. And this machine is 2025. Not only doing much better, but more powerful, more effective, and part of working through the soul of the man, central energy of the man, to reach the physicality of the man, where we're still with it. There is a connection to the physicality for those who receive it. This machine cost millions to develop, to complete, over 40 years to be where it is now. And it still is at the infancy. But we have jumped from this size machine to this size system. More effective. Much more powerful. And working, understanding, as we said, through the soul of the man, to touch the soul of physicality of the man, then the man. You still have the time to reject. You still have the power to reject in what you receive by choice of your soul. Because your soul has committed itself to a direction and dimension and a strength for its future, not for the physicality of today. One of our knowledge seekers sat in front of me. I asked him one question. Why? He said, I help you to the second I'm alive, but I want to be somewhere else. You know and I know why and who and where. I said to him, I celebrate your life. The dimension of your soul is your choice. Wanting him to be here longer would have been more pain for his soul, as his soul chose his dimension and direction and where he has to be to meet with what he wanted to be with and meet with. And our job is not to interfere. But this is what this technology, what you see on the screen, will do. We give you every possible link, knowledge, energy from the universal community, from universe. This system is not connected to physicality of the planetary system, to matter state. It's the first time it's fully integrated, connected to the dimension of the connections with universe. We manufacture the parts of it to do so. And it's hidden secret knowledge, how we done it. No man will be able to replicate this. It's the choice of the soul to do what other souls want. It's not the choice of us. We provide the facility, we provide the fields. It's you who have to decide subconsciously why and how, and if the elevation of the soul is more important than the elevation of physicality. Many of these systems will leave the Keshe Foundation this week. And unfortunately, those of you who bought it, we gave you a preliminary system, if you remember, in the conferences before. And now we're delivering it to you, the actual obesus. This is the reality. This is the what we call universal body enhancement unit, where we enhance your physicality through the soul, through your central energy. And let's see how you react.
These on sale at the on the Keshe store.
Pardon?
Are they for sale at the on the Keshe Foundation store? These
Is
headsets?
the price of the obesus? Yes. Is still at the price of obesus. We will. There's a big evolution in the world of the Keshe Foundation, which we are keeping away from the public for our own safety, for our own work. But you still now, well, these are the generations. Those who bought, a number of them have been informed that they are receiving it. It goes through the normal taxation system, invoiced as a visa system delivery. And you have to pay huge taxes for these to enter. When you bought it, you were aware of it. Now you receive the preliminary system. Many of you haven't touched it. With this, at the same time, you do not need to book time to be connected to our system. You have to inform us when you do, because there are different parameters that work inside. We set up for, we do not set up a special system for cancers or for Alzheimer's or whatever. This is the universal system. You connect to system and you take what you like with it. But those of you who use this system, you have to understand you have a commitment to the Keshe Foundation as the agreement signed. It's your responsibility to what you call keep your commitment to us, that allows us to develop further technologies. You do not need to, as you did with the Enhancement Center in Germany, you allocated time. You can come into, you can put your people on this anytime, 24 hours a day, because we are not connecting you to the matter state anymore, that we had to change things. You're connected directly to universal energies. It's you who decides, not us. And once you feel the change, stop using it. It's not that I'm going to use it more, it's going to get better. If you, because this enhancement units was given to you for the purposes, as you all know why you bought it, for serving humanity and the rest, when it's used, you have to see the result, you see the change, you stop. It's not that I use it, the better you get. You have to understand the purpose of it. And with it, I hope humanity will enjoy a new dimension of what we call world of pleasure of understanding and be connected to universal field non-energies. There is no matter-state connection in this system. For the first time, we have developed.
A few years back, Mr. Keshe, I had the headset, went over your eyes like goggles. Was that a precursor to this?
In a way, yes, but this is a totally different technology.
Mm-hmm.
They can dismantle it. They'll never be able to replicate it. We know people will try to understand. You never, because there are so many hidden. This thing carries a name and a number, and it has a connection to our system. You can build any system. If it's not connected to our system, there is no connection. There is no way we'll interact. There is no way. You just buy dummy. There are reasons why we say this, and there's a connection. There's a part of the system which stays with us. Without it, you have no connection. And you don't need to time books, but you need to inform the Enhancement Center for these things, how and when and who it is, what condition, before and everything to the doctors, not to us. It's a leap, a massive leap into, because this, the next step from this, in the next few months, will be the control of the spaceships, which we have set up. We have the technology to develop that more or less you control through this, through emotion, connection, dimension. In a way, you choose a GPS, where it's going to be, how it's going to be, how many souls you accept to transfer. This is the beginning of the huge evolution in not only science, but the space technology.
There's a question, Mr. Keshe. What are the wires for on the unit that we see on the screen? This is the system which is connecting to something else, which will be sent out. You will see the final version of it. There are reasons, there are bits still to be added to this to be connected, but this is what it's become from that size to this size. It's got a bit of a Star Wars look.
Mr. Keshe, you talked about this electric shock type thing. In the past, it happened to me, and it was, I think, during a meditation. And for 2 weeks, everything I looked at, I loved everything. But then that feeling faded, and which is sad, because I felt like I was walking on cloud 9, a wonderful feeling.
This happened to many knowledge seekers in the past 2 or 3 weeks. People talking about walking like on the ball, people which think they're floating, people emotionally feeling different between different sessions. Today's session is primarily set to connect those who want, who will, who have the field energy and strength to 3I. And it's a 3-dimensional connection of the fields, is not 1 dimension. And is to take and to give. You share your knowledge with the biological system, and the biological system shares knowledge or energy of fields with you. It'll be very interesting. Very, very interesting. How many of you, if you stay connected, try to stay connected with the Keshe Foundation Zoom session. We try to keep the system going on next 72 hours, 48 hours. There'll be no presence. It's just you can connect through the system to it. If your soul or your energy central system already through these connections connected, you don't need us. But as I said, we keep this, we monitor this in our systems to see how the souls who are here or connected to our system will react, will interact in next till around about 21st. 21st is the birth of Mitra, which is the longest day. It's a moving of the man from darkness of the knowledge and understanding of the creation towards understanding more. That's one of the symbolic reasons of it. But around 21st, 22nd, we'll see how you react, how you change. But this is how we shall do and how we shall see. But it's interesting, as I said, leap in technology. You win with the hand of the people who are on the edge of technology.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I do have to give you my condolences with what happened in your part of the world last Saturday, Sunday. And I hope your nation is strong enough to recover.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, but I reminded some good friends of mine that we know their names, but do you remember the names of 20 Palestinians that died today? And they looked at me like, you know, it's a terrible thing, but we have to remember what's happening.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. I was looking at the news past few hours, past few days. At first they said the guy is Pakistani. Then he was a member of IDF. And then he was a terrorist organization, a part of, and he was supported by the Iranians. And then he is a Palestinian, and he all turned out to be the other way around. He's Australian born and bred. He has an Italian mother. He has an Indian father. Has no connection to anywhere. And the funniest thing is, they uprooted being Palestinian Muslim. And then your prime minister and whatever your governors turn up to the bed of another Muslim, Syrian, thanking him, and you raised millions for him apparently in saving life of the others. It's a very funny situation.
Oh yeah, he's a hero to the Australian people because he got shot in the process of trying to save the others, and he tackled the gunman. Very brave, and we won't forget that.
Yeah, but it's interesting. What they blame to be Muslim to do it, actually people saved by Muslim, who's just a recent arrival.
I think Netanyahu blamed the Iranians at first. He said
No,
the Iranians were always
this is.
blamed for
Let me.
everything.
I think at the bottom end of this line will come up. We'll see that this attack was initiated by Tel Aviv. We've seen other attacks. Mossad has killed their own nuclear physicist in America. Mossad has created these recent murders of Jews. We see it's done by the Israelis, not by anybody else. We saw this in 1950s when the Zionists tried to get the Jews into Israel to get the population, and nobody will go. The Israelis bombed the synagogues, killed many in Iraq to push the Jews to say Israel is safe, you have to leave. Killed by the hand of Israelis to push the Israelis. We see the reason they done this attack on Australia. You'll come out, the money behind this, who the guy got paid or whatever, it will come as usually. It's done by Mossad, it's done by Tel Aviv, it's done by Netanyahu himself, because many Israelis left in past 2 years for Australia. And he wanted them back, now creating fear in them that Israel is safe, come back. It's done by them, it's nobody else, it's a finger repeat of history. The governments are aware of this. And what Netanyahu said in past 48 hours proved it. Come back, Israel is not safe, we do this and that. The killing of the Israeli nuclear physicists, it was another sign to bring the scientists back, because all the nuclear facilities, all the scientific centers destroyed, and most of the Israelis have scientific Israelis left. They're not coming back. So when we see this kind of behavior, we know it's because we've seen it before in Eastern Europe, when the Jews will not go, even with the opening of the Russian borders. They created terror and murder to do, and this is the same. Nobody's falling for Israelis saying that this is Iranians or Palestinians. These are paid, done by them to what you call create the condition of forcing Israelis back to Israel who fled. Over 1.5, 2 million have left. Palestinians are now 60% of the population of Israel. And the more they leave, that scale goes to 75%. They have no mandate to rule. This murder and the ones which we'll see on the Israelis to come is done by them, because we've seen this in just go and read the history of what happened in Iraq in 1950s when the Zionists bombed the synagogues, killed the Jews, and they told them, if you don't go, it gets worse, because they wanted people back. And it's the same policy, we see the same. I was talking as advisor to a couple of governments in the past few days, been very busy traveling, and we all the advisors look at Netanyahu is talking through his, as usual, through his stupidity and how much pride he's taking to create these memes. These are initiated through Tel Aviv to force the Israelis back, and they kill more at themselves. They have no problem. The same what they did in October the 7th. They kill a bunch of themselves to create a condition to invade Palestine. They have no problem, because they're not Jews by blood. They're Jews by choice of money. So it's very, very clear to us. Don't get fooled when you see these messages. Don't blame the Palestinian. How come if it's a Palestinian, now they praise a Syrian, a Muslim, actually to save the Jews? It's very interesting. But just stay always open to real facts and go back historically and see. They've done this to themselves before to get the Jews back. Especially, we'll see more Israeli scientists be killed by the Mossad on their side to force the scientists back, because most of the scientific centers were demolished many Hundreds of thousands of scientists were killed in the 12-day war. And nobody's prepared to go back. And they had to kill one of the top nuclear to create the excuse that the Iranians, it was done by a Muslim. On behalf of the Iranian nation, we never touched another soul, we never do. We could have done that a long time ago.
Just hope that the peace comes to the Middle East very soon, Mr. Keshe.
It will not come, there's too much money involved. Too much money. It's the same as the politic of the Ukraine. We all know why and how the British are forcing the war. British are forcing this war because it goes back historically to the Second World War. The British, as you know, paid around about 4 billion at that time to stay as a nation, not to lose to Hitler. But the American Senate passed a law in 1939, cash and carry. This will go into the history of the Senate and open door. It's more for this cash and carry rule. It means if you want anything, you have to pay for it. And the American knew the British are losing the war with Hitler. They would lose the war. They had nothing. Ireland, isolated. Hitler literally surrounding them. The British signed an agreement with the Americans. The Americans says, whatever you need, you have to pay for it. Cash and carry. All the gold reserve of Britain was paid to Canada, to US, to buy food and whatever. Then they took step by step everything the British Empire had under one rule. No, you want this, you pay for it. And the last payment of this debt was completed around about early 2000. Overall, the American structure companies stripped British from whatever they stole over centuries. A statistic by the international banking system says Britain has paid in all the losses, what they gave back, the companies they had to give back in America to the America to pay back for what was coming in. They had to pay for it cash, no promises. Loans only were given after England paid all the basic. In 2006, the last payment was made by the British government to the Americans. The total amount the Americans took out of the Britain is 400 billion for a 4 billion loan for the war. This is why you see American companies which are originally British around the world, because you want the food, we want the company, you pay for it. They had to sell many, many things. And now British see themselves and they want to take revenge on that. And they want to get the American involved in the war with Russia for no reason. We seen last week the British government has announced it's the time for the sons and the daughters to stand up to be killed, and the families have to be proud of. This is what's coming out of London at the moment. Because Britain needs the division between America, Russia and China to be able to rule again. But this is financed in a different way out of the money and gold which was taken out of the Arab nations in the Arab Spring uprising, which rise to British. And we see this very, very clearly. Nobody wants war, but Britain is pushing the war in Ukraine to go higher and attack, and then the same may happen. Before, an American said, we are not supporting it. If you go into war this time, your nation will starve. The ultimate is a nuclear war. The British will go for it. It's a very complicated situation, but The only one who's pushing for the war at the moment in Ukraine is Rothschild through British government, because they want their monies back what they lost.
Is that why they want to keep the Russian money that they've confiscated?
That's the tip of the iceberg. That's the tip of the iceberg. There is a huge amount of Britain's gone bankrupt, and they don't have a choice but to go into war. And this war is not financed by the nation, it's financed by monarchy. Ukraine war, all the weapons we see is through Vatican, British government and Rothschild, with the assets stolen before in past 10, 20 years, are financing it. They use what you call drugs to bring China to its knees. Now, the drug, 80% of the world drugs is controlled through London. It's the best way they ever made money. And a lot of it doesn't work anymore because nobody's prepared to work. And the what do you call it, rhetorics of the past doesn't play a tune anymore.
Recently, China's stopped the silver from leaving their country, and I think that's another problem as well. Silver as an industrial metal.
A lot of things have stopped from China. A lot of things. Rare earth materials, magnets, motors, everything, whatever it can pressurize. China has started new colonization through technology and resources. British said with guns. Chinese are doing it with technology and assets. And they are playing it very, very tight. German companies, German, French, Italian, are starving of raw material. And this gives the Chinese to buy all the American and European companies at a peanut rate. As the Ford and the Mercedes and BMW closes factory, not being able to meet, Americans are producing cars nobody wants to buy. Chinese, even with 100% tariff, are still half price. And China is becoming a source. But the biggest thing as I advised the Chinese was you start getting a hatred for the nation because of other things, and this cannot happen. There has to be a balance. Chinese cannot live in comfort where Kazakhs cannot pay the bills because everything's sold to China, Iranians the same, and the rest.
And we need to share the resources, we need to share the knowledge, as you're doing with your technology.
We are working on things, and we have to wait and see how things take shape.
Yeah.
We have very nice structure, and we are receiving help from every direction and dimension, and to push this through. We don't go against the Chinese government, we don't go against the American government or any other government, but we are preparing a ground that all nations have what they need as much as they need. And this is the key.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility to feed, to support the German nation in industrialization, but not at the cost of others in the wars. The same with the Americans. Keshe Foundation has got as much commitment to the American nation as it has to Germany and to China. And with the technology, we are at that cross point. If we miss it, it'll be disaster. But if we catch it, it'll be the right thing.
Yeah.
It just come. It just come. The technology is there. We receive huge supports financially in every shape or form. It just comes off the wall. I don't know how it is. And it's just the soul's been born to be there to create that condition and dimension and position. The physicality does it, but the soul has brought the body to be there. And we're getting a lot of support, a lot of beautiful things happening, and by knowledge seekers. And we are at a crossroad where we can, with technology, bring that change. As I said to some people recently, we try our failures to be in the front, that people do not see our success. By the time they're busy with our failures, we succeed heavily in the background. And the introduction of the coin, the introduction of new technology, the development of what we call production of materials, especially gold, to bring. It's very strange. We have to give gold to be able to get funds to buy gold in the shape we want, because we don't have the facility of it. It's very, very strange. And but it gives us the comfort that what we're doing will bring us peace, will bring peace to humanity. It's a very tricky position we are in. And the same, as you say, with the silver, the same with rare earth materials. I have a meeting with the diplomats in the next hours, literally, to guarantee material to European nations. How we'll do it, how it'll be done. And the most interesting thing is the systems will guarantee jobs in Germany, in US. But to what extent will create problems with China, we should not do, because they have enough for their own structure. The introduction of new energy systems, which makes the dependence on batteries more or less to zero. These are what is on the horizon, and we received huge helps to be able to do this. There are so many knowledge seekers in the background working, moving to make this happen. It's one chance we cannot miss, and is my responsibility to see it to happen. But it has to be correct way. Elevating the soul of the man as much as looking at the physicality of the man.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Keshe, we had a number of questions about whether we should stay on Zoom and wear headphones, or
it all depends on you. We try to keep the Zoom sessions open for next days. How we do it, I do not know how it will happen. You have to understand, our center is going down for Christmas holidays. Tomorrow is the last day of operation in our system till New Year. We need to do a lot of things in the background. It needs to be kept on, that we go through to 21st and to see what happens. And we keep the lines open, because we have opened the line, our team knows what it is, directly into the strength field frequency of 3i. And we have to receive and be in charge and control of this condition. We have tuned in the lower order field, which means we receive the higher order strength back. And keeping this going for next 72 hours, 80, God knows 100 hours is a God's will. My biggest fear is if our systems blow up with receiving so much energy, because we have gone very much lower, but in the same direction of as 3i. So by the law of plasma, you knowledge seekers, God knows what you're going to receive and what will be your enlightenment. It's very, 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 very much sitting on the hand of you lot. Any other question? I think we better call it a day. We've been going too long.
There's one thing, maybe one question. We did have a couple of hands up here, but I think Claudia just put hers down, and Ike has probably got an answer from what you just said. There's a question about where to see, from Doug, about where to see 3i Atlas in the sky. And I had done a bit of research on that, thinking that it's funny that 3i Atlas is coming around this time of year, which was like the three wise men and following the Star of Bethlehem, right? And I'm thinking, well, that's what, 2,000 years ago, and they were following this star, which turns out it was planets that were aligning. I think Venus and Jupiter are two planets were aligning. It was extra bright looking star in the sky. And for 3i Atlas, I asked Grok, and it's quite amazing. Here's the results. I asked Grok, is it true that the comet 3i Atlas will be in the same sky position late in December 19th, 2025 as the Star of Bethlehem was 2,000 plus years ago? And it thought for quite a while and said, yes, the claim appears to be true based on available astronomical data and historical interpretations of the Star of Bethlehem. The comet 3i Atlas, also designated C2025N1, the third confirmed interstellar comet, will reach its closest approach to Earth on December 19th, 2025, at a distance of about 1.8 AUs, which is, roughly 270 million kilometers. On that date and the days around it, the comet will be positioned in the constellation Leo, visible in the pre-dawn eastern sky, and located near the bright star Regulus, which is Alpha Leonis, the heart of the lion. I thought that was interesting. It's celestial coordinates, and it gives the coordinates here and so on. And Jupiter and Venus was the Star of Bethlehem, supposedly on supposedly it was interpreted as a sign of a king's birth. So interesting that which happened to all the other coincidences of 3i Atlas, just happening to visit virtually all the planets of our solar system one by one, at least close, and now it's showing up in the sky, and it could have been any of the other parts of the sky. It just happened to be in the same constellation and near the same star Regulus, which I thought that was a pretty good find through AI. It kind of came through that time. What do you think, Mr. Keshe? Is there a coincidence there?
No.
Is it a AI hallucination?
Let us go through it. People are looking on a physical dimension. We're looking on the energy side, the plasma side, which I'm pretty sure we are the only structure looking at this, looking at it in this way. Not looking at how it'll appear to be a Star of David. It'll be a bright light blue, white, yellow, how far, close or distance. The reality is that maybe it'll be shocking to you, but as this system has had number of encounters with us as a race over thousands of years, it has already connection through our soul, through our physicality with us, through the DNA and RNA of our forefathers. Even when we were a mouse in the rat holes and it's passed, it has left a fingerprint. So when it comes to touch, when it comes to connect, it already has certain amount of connections to us through our structure. And it's easier to do what we are doing by creating the condition. We are emphasizing to bring a better or maybe much easier connection. We already have a connection with the system. Our forefathers have met, and in a plasmatic condition, once the line is created, it never breaks. So how we see it, is it going to be a handshake of the souls, but the physicality eye of the man? And this, we're not looking at it, how will it look, will it appear, is a biological system, is a living system, and it doesn't matter how it looks from outside. It's like what you call a crab going into a shell, and the shell moving. There's a crab and the soul inside. And its life within, doesn't matter what shell it carries and how it looks. What it does to us in the coming years counts, not how it looks today and tomorrow and whatever it is. And this is the reason we set our system up this way, to bring the direct connection. I wish you all the best and all we can be done. We need our channels open on the Zoom as much as we can. If it's not on, come back again, because you establish the line with us, is there. If not, our system runs every 30 hours renewal. We can renew for 2 or 3 times, that we all go through it. You want to come and connect with it, please, we mute everything that you cannot interfere. It's just house of connection. You come and connect how you see the elevation. Would you put the headset on your head and connect to our Zooms and watch the light? Does it connect you? What emotion does it give you? Does it make you a passenger of the universe? All depends on what your soul allows you. This time is not the game of the man, it's the game of the fields and plasmas and souls. You have to see how your soul decides to play.
Mr. Keshe, I'm confused. Are you talking about having this channel of Zoom open, or the Zoom?
We leave this channel open.
Friday special.
We leave this channel open. It just stays open, nothing else, because the systems are running in the background. We do not shut the Zoom section. We leave it open with the microphones on. We don't allow any panelists. Nobody can join the panelists. You can come in, stay as an attendee, and
with an open microphone. We open their microphones, you mean?
They can do whatever they like. They can receive or give, or receive and don't give. It all depends on you what you
No, I
want.
mean, we allow everyone to open their microphone as attendees. Is that what you're saying?
We don't let anybody to be on the panelist. They're allowed to open their microphones when they're in the background. You know, the way you keep it today, you have the panelists and the attendees. They decide they want to receive or they want to give.
But we don't allow all microphones open for attendees. There's a setting for that. If
No, we don't
allow everyone to open their microphone, then
they can open their microphone, but they come as a panelist that they can participate. It's their decision.
They come in as a panelist to participate. They can come in.
They don't allow. We don't allow panelists. The only panelists who stays are the 3 microphones.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The attendees can do whatever they like. Come in, go anytime. We have a capacity of, I think, about 3,000 sitting in the background, so we can accommodate a lot if anybody wants to.
And again, if they ask to open their microphones, I'll decline it, right? And won't allow them to talk.
Nobody can talk in the attendees. You don't allow your attendees to talk to you.
Well, we do. That's what, when they put a hand up, we allow them to talk, or I can allow them.
Yes, no, we don't. We don't. There's nobody there. There's nobody to allow or not allow. It goes beyond the dimension of the physicality. You come in, you decide what you want to share, to receive or to give. We keep these 3 units running on the Zoom. This Zoom will switch off and then switch back on, and it goes for 30 hours. And then we renew it once more. It just depends how you want to connect yourself.
Do we keep the YouTube running at the same time?
If you like to, if you can do, you can do.
Well, I don't really want to be running for 30 hours.
Don't run it.
Can't do that.
Don't run it. Leave it with the Zoom, because Zoom is automatic 30-hour cycle.
So I keep the channel open in Zoom here for 30 hours.
Yeah, we take it over. We take over from the side we do if you don't have it. I think your Zoom can stay 30 hours running anyway. Correct?
Probably, yes.
Zoom sessions are 30 hours, so our people from our side can renew it. Because we usually
again, I'm confused. Do I close the workshop here in Zoom?
Yeah, you close the workshop and we reopen it. And we reopen it and run the 3 units, and that's it. Anybody can come in to be attendee.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no problem. We set our system this way, and there's a pattern behind it, and we monitor. We want to monitor. This is not for teaching or anything. You personally want to monitor the field, the interaction of this energies, because this will allow us to set our flight system in the coming time. The way we invited you to sessions on Fridays, this session gives us, we are monitoring, and you can be part of it. We want to monitor how our system, which is set up to connect to universal energies and universal fields, and the line of the fields to the creator. They've especially done this for today's session, how it shows on our system, because then it tells me how to structure the flight system, which are going into operation in June, July of this year, hopefully. It's part of the way we learn from you in sessions on Fridays. This is a session for us. World of scientists look for these opportunities when it comes up, and it's our responsibility to track it, to record it, to understand it, and with the flight system coming into operation very soon, how we can react to fields from outside, how to interact. It's for our learning, but we share it with you. There's something. Just 1 second, Rick, please. I read it what comes from our side. Rick can make the units from as host and or co-host after the restart. You understand? So I can take over and leave it for as a host and let it run and allow the 3 units up. Anybody can come in to leave the session open and they can join in. And
so we don't shut down. We just carry on.
we just carry on. Yes.
We'll close the YouTube, or
you close the YouTube if you want. We have to run this monitoring. We have to. It's part of our work. Our team in the background continuously monitors the effect and how we receive fields, how we transfer fields, and with this we have a better understanding of setting our system for flight in the coming months. The reason we do this, as for the knowledge seekers to understand, is that by the fields we create in our system, how we affect the soul of the passengers. And this is an outside system we have to interact with. We know how to replicate the fields of the system. We have to understand more for us how to create a protection from these kind of interactions. This is the main reason we are doing this. You know, years ago, some miners got stuck in South America under the rubble for days and weeks. And NASA moved straight away to see how people behave socially when they're isolated. This is very similar to us. But government watched the light. We watched the process of energy interaction of the soul of the knowledge seekers. How they come, how they go, what effect it creates us. And forever we come in to look, to see, to learn, and our system runs round the clock, monitoring, recording the interactions. What happens at the peak, what position changes, how your knowledge seekers who come in react. Try to come in at the closest point of interaction between the system and the earth. This will allow us a lot, this teaches a lot. Thank you very much for today, and I hope you have a wonderful time. We'll see you on the Christmas Day, next Thursday. And then as is tradition, we'll see you on the New Year's Day at the same time. You're on the same time. And hopefully it'll be a very interesting day this time, because it'll be the last time it'll be ever that the 25th falls on the 25th of the 2025. And it's very interesting how the 25s will match each other. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you for letting us to learn about the connection of the man with the universal community and energies in the next few days. See you next week, and by that time we wish you a Merry Christmas to those of you who are in the path of the Christ. See you next week.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. So I should give you turn over host to you. Is that the idea now?
If you could, that would be fantastic. But you stay as a co-host, that if anything goes down, you still stay operational.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have a KFM running co-host. You keep the co-host because we switch our system up on this side. Can you put the co-host, if you can, On unit 1, 3, and 5, please. Can you make them co-host while you're the host?
Okay. 1, 3, and 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And 5. Okay, that's done.
So nobody needs to be, because the system will run themselves. Anybody can come in and be attendee.
And the other question would be, do you want to have the chat open for people to type into, or?
Yes, yes, please. Leave the chat open and let the people become attendees, but they cannot speak because when they're attendees, they can't open their microphone, can they?
They can't open their microphone because they won't be able to see a microphone to open. Unless we allow them to talk.
We can't allow nobody to talk because we don't want interruption.
Well,
there should be no problem. There should be no problem. They can come in as attendees and be there.
It's with your soul kind of
connection.
system.
Yeah. You got the message.
Okay.
People can stay on as long as they like and they connect in the way they want.
So my next question would be, who do I make the host? The one you're talking with now, the KFM?
Make KFM hosts, yes.
KFM.
Because we can come in and reset.
Okay, I think there's... Well, let me... maybe before I make you host, I'll say goodbye to the YouTube. We could keep the YouTube running as far as that goes.
Yes.
Quiet.
I'll do that with you.
And it might cut out eventually, but it'll be a very long workshop for people looking it up, though.
If you want to break up and come in back in, if you want to do it that way.
We could. We'll lose all our attendees here and so on. They'll have
They
to...
can come back in again. The attendees can come back in, log in anytime. But the session has to stay open.
Okay, well, we could close it down. I guess that would be best for recording the workshop to Zoom for the educational channel and whatnot.
Yeah, and then restart again and make us make me the host, or KFMC the host, and make the 3 units the co-hosts that the system stays on.
Right. Okay. Well, if those 3 units could make sure they come back in right away, then I can do that for them. Yeah.
Yeah. In the background, can we just bring these systems back up at co-host, please? There should be no problem.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Before we go?
No, really. See you next week, and I hope you have a beautiful week.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Lots of great information come through in this workshop. Well, thanks everyone for attending today's 621st Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 18th, 2025. Our next public teaching workshop will be on December 23rd with the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace with members and support members of the Universal Council. And that program will start at the 4 p.m. Central European Time. All right, I think that's it for now. And we'll wrap up with our usual flight enhancement spaceship unit, and we'll end the program. And then we will restart the program for those that would like to join in the manner that Mr. Keshe was discussing. And for those in the YouTube, that's in our usual Zoom channel, which is available in all the announcements for workshops for the last 10 years or so. Okay, that's it. We'll go out with our flight enhancement, as I mentioned. And bye for now, everyone. Have a great day wherever you are, and we'll see you in a few minutes if you're going to carry on here.